Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today with a get ready with me. I'm doing my makeup. I've been wanting to try this collection for a couple of weeks now. I was sent it a couple of weeks ago and I'm like, no, I won't touch it until I can create this video. Today's the day. It is a Saffron collection from Suva Beauty. So there's an eyeshadow palette, there's 2 liquid lipsticks and there's 2 Hydra liners, sort of water activated liners. So you can see the card here and it looks really cool. There's like leaves and gold and red and a lot of like jewelry going on. And this collection is actually inspired by the founder of Suva Beauty's Fijian childhood. So I think that's really cool. So we can see the items here. There's an eyeshadow palette, which is $35 US. The 2 Hydra liners, they're both chrome. So they're like a metallic sort of finish. They're $12 each. And the 2 moisture matte liquid lipsticks, a red and a nude, that are $18 each. So we're going to go through everything. Now I have spoken about Suva Beauty before. I am lucky that I get sent stuff, but I really do like their products. So I think the first things that I tried from them was the Block Party palette, which I really like and I still really like. Now the thing is, I love the quality of these. They're not colors I wear on an everyday basis. There's like a pure white, there's like a neon pink, there's like a vibrant yellow, but the colors that really stand out to me as being like exceptional and I will reach for this palette for is the dark teal and the navy. They're beautiful. The mattes are really pigmented, nice to work with, and probably the best teal eyeshadow I've come across ever. So yeah, that was sort of how they got on my radar. Also the Hydra liner that I really like and I still really like is this purple one, which is grape soda. It's like my favorite purple eyeliner. I've since bought one that's a similar color from JD Glow. They do a sort of liquid one, which is like a neon purple. It's a similar color. I'm not sure yet which formula I prefer, but the colors are perfect. They're so beautiful. You might also remember that I did a review of their liquid lipsticks that they released. They released 6 of them. And these are sort of my conclusion in a nutshell is that they're really comfortable. They're not super long wearing, but because they are thin and very comfortable, they're easy to reapply. So if you want a more comfortable liquid lipstick, these are great. My main issue with these were they were very pink. You have like a lot of sort of pink tone shades. And these were the ones I liked the most because I sort of like a more warmer lip. So I was happy to see that. I think they were holding out releasing more sort of warmer shades because they were putting it into the Spice collection, because these 2 shades are right up my alley. So we've got a darker sort of brownie nude and a darker true red. So if we compare it to the ones that I just showed you, that's like a bright orangey red versus a true red, and that is like a very nude versus a darker nude. So the lighter ones are from the Permanent range. These are from the Saffron range, which I'm so keen to try. And just quickly, the Hydra liners come in this packaging. So the 2 shades, there is like this, I'm going to call this maybe a metallic dusty rose. It's sort of like a purpley rose color, like a rosy mauve. It's really interesting. And then we also have more of a sort of copper rose gold color, which is beautiful. I'm not really familiar with, firstly, their metallic formula of these Hydra liners. I'm also not really familiar with using metallic liners that are quite light. So I'm really interested to see how these all pair together. I'm going to try to make it work. But I'm going to start with the eyeshadow palette because this eyeshadow palette really inspires me. Similar to how like the Block Party one inspired me and I was really impressed with the formula. This one looks like the formula is great, but not only that, the shades look a lot more sort of everyday wearable if you don't like sort of neon, really bright colors. Like I said, there were some shades in here that I will reach for on a daily basis because I can work them into everyday looks. But when it comes to bright whites or neon yellows, it's not really something I reach for every day. So I was really happy to see this palette because not only are there beautiful metallics that I would reach for every day, but there are some nice browns and sort of just, you know, nude colors. So it's very spice related. You can see the sort of saffron sort of inspiration, a lot of gold, a lot of reds, a lot of foiled sort of colors. And this is a 9-pan palette and there are 4 mattes. So down here are mattes and that one there's a matte. So, you know, it's a nice sort of mix of colors in my opinion. I'm super keen to try this. So this is just a cardboard palette. It is slightly different shape, as you can see, to the Block Party, or very different shape. But it is sort of like your standard 9-pan, 3 rows of 3. Does have a mirror in the lid. There's my rug. And yeah, I don't even know where to start. Okay, I'm going to start by swatching these because I'm super curious and I sort of want to know what to do in this look because I'm not too sure. So that's the top row there. So we have sort of like a shimmery champagne white, which is called Coriander. It's got a gold shift to it. It's very pretty. That'd make a very nice highlighter. Then we have Saffron, which is what the collection's named after. It's a beautiful metallic bronze. We also have Cinnamon, which is like a warm sort of red cinnamon brown color. This actually looks very rosy swatched. I was quite surprised, but it's very pretty. So those are the first 3 shades. All right, these are the next 3 shades, and you can see that I've barely touched them, but they do seem very nicely pigmented. That red is really interesting. I do think that this formula does feel a lot like Block Party. I found that in the metallic or the shimmery shades in the Block Party felt a little bit almost not wet, but they have a little bit of an oiliness to them, which can mean they can be harder to pick up with a brush, but you can put them on and they are quite bold. So yeah, we'll see how they work, but they tend to be very, very rich in pigment. And probably work best if you apply it with a really sort of flat brush or with your fingers. But that red, I really love this red. So this looks quite powdery on. I'm curious how it's going to actually apply. I do find that some of their mattes do sort of swatch a little bit powdery, but then apply really beautifully. So I'm curious, I might try that today. This is the gold. Ooh, that's beautiful gold. So we've got paprika, turmeric, and this one's ginger. I did say before that this was matte. I don't actually think this is. I think it's more of a satin sort of off-white shade. All right, the bottom row, this one here is quite a chunky formula. Reminds me a little bit of, and this is no dig at all, but Morphe. They have some really beautiful metallic shades that are quite chunky, but it's just something that you have to be aware of. Like, you don't sort of like scrape your brush in it because you'll pick up like a lot of product, but if you're aware of it, it's fine. But these are sort of the row that like I like the most, that inspires me the most. This is Star Anise, Sarso, and Clove. So let's swatch it. So that's a beautiful bronze sort of glitter shade with some gold flecks in it. And this is a beautiful, whoa, that's like a, I don't know, grape, burgundy grape, very nicely pigmented. And this is a nice cool brown which almost has like purple undertones to it. So that's the palette there. What do I start with? I don't even know. Well, first I'm going to start by putting eyeshadow primer. So this is the Gen Nude eyeshadow primer from Bare Minerals in the shade Lit. So I'm just putting that. Oh, I'm glad I am, because my foundation is creasing on my eyes. All right, so while I'm doing my eyes, I thought I would just chat as well. You might notice the cats aren't behind me. They're not anywhere. There's one down there and one on a chair over there. So that's where they currently are. But you might have seen, if you follow my Instagram, I've been posting a lot of photos about cats. They're not my cats, they're my mum's cats. So I've been up there visiting my grandfather a lot. She currently lives with my grandfather, who's very unwell. So that's why I've been showing a lot of these gorgeous kittens that are so precious. They're beautiful, but they're not my cats. I don't have 4 cats now, but I wish. All right, I have no idea where to start. All right, just with a fluffy brush, I'm thinking of going in with that ginger color just a little bit. Oh, it's very soft. Just to sort of set just the crease so it's easier to blend out. I do find that sometimes if I don't set it, it does sort of, you know, stick and grip too much to the skin, and it kind of, yeah, it doesn't blend as well. So I'm just using that. Even though this has a bit of a shimmer in it, it's actually a really beautiful shade. You can imagine just using this as like a wash of color all over the lid just for a little bit of dimension. I don't hate it. All right, I'm going in with my Hakuhodo brush. This is like a flat brush. This is the B004G, and I just feel like this would be good to put the product onto my eye. What do I start with? I'm sort of really inspired by this one, that one, and that one. So I'm going to incorporate those on the lid. And then I might blend it out with some mattes. I might put some of the gold as an inner corner highlight maybe. But I want to start with Saffron. So the one that the collection's sort of named after. On this brush, I'm just picking up some. So you can see it doesn't It does pick up product, but because, like I said, this is a little bit of an oilier product, you might need to just layer it a little bit, but you know, it is quite pigmented. So I'm going to go in there. That is a beautiful color. Whoa. Okay. See, it's not super smooth to apply, but it's nicely pigmented and it does grip to the lid really well. So maybe I should zoom in to show you. Look at it. That's a beautiful eyeshadow. So there's very little fallout with that because it is, once again, that really sort of grippy formula. You can see that it looks a little bit oily. It hasn't like sealed up in the pan, but there is a lot of oil there. I'm going to now jump to this purple with the same brush because I don't like to clean too many brushes at once. It's not my thing. And that also has that same beautiful like foiled sort of grippy formula. This is a beautiful shade. Really pretty. So I don't know when this video will be up, but we had a Beauty News meetup last weekend, which was fun. It's kind of weird though. We had like a bunch of people come and everyone was super sweet. But I was talking to my friend about it yesterday and she's like, that's so unlike you to hold like a big event. Like I'm just not that sort of, I'm not that social, if that makes sense. And I was like, yeah, it's hard. It's so hard because you want to like do things for people and, you know, give back. But at the same time, it's so out of my comfort zone. So if anyone came and I was awkward, I'm sorry. I tried not to be, but who the fuck knows. But thank you to people that came. It was fun. All right, I'm going in with this one. So I've just tapped that on the lid. Same brush, but I'm just turning it over to that side. And I'm just going to put the red here. Okay, so I don't know how this is going to go. So the red definitely, it looks like it's going to take a bit to build up. But I don't hate that. I do find that sometimes these really intense mattes, sort of, it's good to build them up so you don't overdo it straight away. But this isn't as sort of vibrant as I was expecting, but it's quite nice. It's one of those sort of, I don't know, wearable reds. Is that a thing? Sort of, I think if you blend this out, you'd get a bit of pink going on. So you could incorporate it into a lot of different looks. This brush probably isn't the best for this particular thing that I'm doing, but let's just pack it all on for now. And I'm going back with some more of that purple shade because I really don't want the red to dominate. I like reds, but I don't know. I feel like they're dominating my life. Whenever I use them, I feel like I go overboard. Okay, I'm going in with cinnamon because I can. I'm going with that. I'm going to blend all that out. Once again, this cinnamon shade looks really pink on the eye. Did not expect that. It sort of looks like an extension, like a softer version of the red. Okay, just got a little bit of that ginger shade, which I'm going to tone down some of that because that cinnamon shade applies very pink. Like I kind of saw that in the swatch, but I thought it was going to be a little bit more brown. It's very pink. It's also blended out that red a lot. So I'm going to go back in with a bit of that red. So it's definitely easy to intensify again. I think if I was to do this again, I would probably do the crease color first and then the red because the red really sort of helped blow out that crease color to make it look more pink. I'm going to go in with Clove, which is that matte dark brown, just sort of to, I don't know, take away some of the red that I just intensified. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sort of trying to make it a little bit less red. All right, so even though I've toned it down a bit, it is still a very red look, which is fine. I'm going to now use some of the gold on the inner corner, and then I might use some of this color and the brown on the lower lash line to sort of ground the look a little bit more. Is that going to do it? I don't even know. This is a really pretty gold, and I really like a gold as an inner corner highlight. I'm just not a big fan of gold all over the lid, but as a way to brighten this kind of color scheme, I think it's really pretty. Okay, we're going in with Star Anise, which is a little bit more glittery and flaky. This is I should have used this all over the lid. I think if I was to use one color sort of all over the lid on a daily basis, it'd be this Star Anise. It's like a nice sort of brown with a little bit of glitter. I think it's really pretty. Bit of fallout with this one, but you know, it is glitter, so. All right, with the same brush, I'm just using that dark brown clove color just to deepen that in the outer corner. I really like the lower lash line. That sort of brown and gold sort of combo is what I sort of like to wear on a daily basis. All right. I'm just going in with a liner. This is by Smashbox and it is the shade Brood, which is a dark brown. I'm going to put that just on my waterline. Then I'm going to play with these guys. So they're water activated cake liners. So they are dry cake liners, and then you put your brush in a bit of water, and like water paint, you sort of mix the product and turn it into a sort of liquid liner form. So they are water activated. If you have really runny eyes, these could sort of run off a bit, but from my experience, these last pretty well. They do tend to sort of flake off throughout, like, if you wear them for like longer than 8 hours, they will start to dry and get a little bit flaky if you sort of touch your eyes, but otherwise they last a good 8 hours. So just as is. This is in the shade BADMASH, and it is a nice, like I said, that sort of mauvey, rosy sort of metallic. And this is BAKWAS, I think it is, and that is a beautiful sort of copper shade, which would be really nice with this look, but I kind of want to shake it up and do this. Do I? I don't know. I'm really confused. What do? I suppose this does work better with it. I'm going to swatch them and find out. So I just put some water in here and I'm just mixing it around to create the sort of consistency that I'm after. And let's swatch it on the back of my hand. So that's a really pretty sort of metallic. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. I like that it's darker than I sort of expected. I thought it was going to be quite light reflecting. I like quite dark liners, so this is really pretty. That'd be nice with just like a champagne color all over the lid. And same thing here. So I just put a bit more water than the last one, but let's swatch it on my hand, and that's a beautiful sort of coppery color. It's a beautiful color. I think I might actually go the purple. All right, so we're just putting it on. It's a very pretty color. I didn't think these metallics would sort of work with this eyeshadow palette, but they actually do. On camera, I think you sort of lose the eyeliner amongst the shadows, but in person, you can really see it. It's very, very pretty. All right, I kind of dig that. I sort of like the metallic on metallic, and I sort of like the sort of warm colors and then the cool eye. I've got browns here. I think I might actually try to put some of this one on my lower lash line because I want to use it. These liners are surprisingly beautiful. I wasn't sure about metallic liners, but now I'm like, hey, metallic on metallic, I don't hate it. So I'm just going to put a little bit sort of, I don't know what I'm doing. I've sort of ruined it a little bit, but it's all about experimenting. I feel like I've got a mystical bird on my eyes and I don't hate it. Would I wear this to the shops every day? Probably not, but you know, some of these elements I would, probably not all together, but oh no. Okay, keep your eye sort of closed until it's completely dry. So I sort of transferred on my creasy lids, but it's gone now. That's fine. No problem. All right, I'm just going to put some mascara on. This is the NARS Climax mascara. I'm still not obsessed with it, sadly, but yeah, I've got it open, so I'll use it. All right, so that is the final eye look. I'm not doing lashes because I can't be bothered, but I'm digging this sort of metallic on metallic. It's a lot going on, but it kind of works. And in real life, it doesn't look clownish. It sort of just looks sort of Interesting. I like it. Okay, so I do want to sort of apply the red lipstick because I'm really curious. So I think I will, but then I'll take it off because I'm well aware that red and red don't always look great. It's a bit like OTT. You can do it, but I feel like on camera it really makes me look washed out. So I'm going to eventually put the nude on. But this is BESHARAM, and it sort of looks like a berry purple. It's really pretty. I want to put it on my lips, so I'm going to. Oh, smells so nice too. That is super pretty. So once again, like in my review of these liquid lipsticks, this is sort of similar. It's not super opaque, but it is very sort of smooth and even to apply. So it's not really opaque, but it doesn't look patchy. Oh, I like that. I sort of want to leave that on. It's such a pretty lip, but I really want to try the nude. It's like a raspberry red. It's not a warm tone red. I think on camera it looks like a true red, but it's very berry in real life. It's very pretty, very thin and comfortable. I like it. All right, now for the nude, which is BADNAM. And this is sort of like, I don't know, kind of looks like chai. It kind of has it's brown, but it's got a little bit of a rosiness to it. I like it. I want to try it. It is definitely like my lips, but better. Oh, they smell like vanilla cake. This is beautiful. In their in their range that they originally released, I was looking for a nude like this. They only had like pinky nudes or a light nude. This is my kind of nude. Oh, that's a pretty nude. So super comfortable, nice and thin. I got some highlighter here, so ignore the thing that makes me look like I've got sweat. This is a really pretty nude. I think that nude looks really nice with the eyes. It just works really well. I love the color. This is sort of like a staple nude in my opinion. If you like something like Velvet Teddy, you'll like this. These are colors that I think are great additions to the range. Very, very pretty, very comfortable. And yeah, I'm familiar with this formula. It doesn't wear through food very well, but it's super comfortable and easy to touch up. So it's not one of those cakey, drying, flaking liquid lipsticks. They're more comfortable and really, really thin. So I'm digging those. So I sort of expected to like these because I like the other liquid lipsticks, and I just wanted more colors like this. So I knew I was going to like these, and I do. I think I was like almost upset that I was taking the red off. I thought I was also going to really like the eyeshadow palette because I like the Block Party one. This one I think I need to play around with more. I really like the metallics. They are that sort of oilier formula that you might need to pick a little bit up at a time and sort of build. It's not one of those eyeshadow formulas that are quite powdery and just go on your eye really easily. This is sort of like the grippier metallic eyeshadow. So you sort of put them on and they grip to the skin really well. It means that they look really intense and they last really well. So I like that. I really love the metallics. I think especially like Saffron and Sarso. I think they're really beautiful. The red, I was a little bit not confused by, but I think I was sort of expecting it to be a little bit more pigmented. Now you can sort of get an intense red look out of it. I blended this out and I mixed it with the brown. So this is sort of like a muted version, but it's more of a, similar to the lipstick, it's more of a berry red instead of like a fiery red. So it sort of leans more pinkish. So it leans more pink instead of more orange. And it does look like it sort of swatches pretty poorly, but you can build it up. I do think that this would benefit from a more like a stickier base. But if you just want it as like a little hint of warmth, I think it's sort of, it's fine. It works well. It sort of blends out nicely. I think the one thing that I'm probably the most disappointed in is actually that this shade is very pink when you apply it. So you can see it there. It's sort of next to the red. It almost looks like the red blended out. And I feel like I would have liked it to be a little bit more brown or a little bit more orange or a little bit more cooler or something, so you can get a little bit more definition, because I did blend it into the red and I was like, wait, did it just diffuse the red into the same color? So I think the mattes in this, I'm not loving as much as the shimmers, and I'm not loving as much as the sort of dark shades in the Block Party palette, but you know, you can create some really nice sort of warm looks out of this. And if you want a warm palette, you've got it here. There are some like cooler shades, but I feel like they all sort of apply and create a very warm look on the eye, but it's a very pretty color palette. I actually think the sneaky favorites that I thought I would like the least are these. I think these are beautiful. When I saw them, I'm like, oh yeah, metallic sort of bronze. When am I going to wear that? But surprisingly, I would wear this often. I think they're really flattering. I think they apply really nicely. And surprisingly, because I have quite a dark base, they don't look like, I don't like liners that don't give your eye definition because they're too light. I do find like I've got a few really, really light sort of blue eyeliners, and I feel like they almost make my eyes look a bit more closed in. They don't actually elongate them and do the like thing that eyeliners are supposed to do. And I was worried that these would do the same, would actually not create a shape. But they do. I think they're really pretty, especially like this one. And I like metallic on metallic. It's a new thing that I'm like, I don't hate. I like it. I'm digging it. I'm going to wear this out later and I'm okay with it. All right, guys. So that is my look using the Saffron collection from Suva Beauty. I think it's a really pretty collection. I love the color story. I love the metallics. I love the metallic on metallic with the matte lips. I think it's really pretty. You could put this on your lips as well. I'm sure you could. So I think it's a fun collection. If you're inspired by these colors or you're into Suva Beauty, check them out. I think I'm gonna have to play with the palette a little bit more because I really dig the metallics, but there's a couple of mattes that I'm like, I need to play with them a little bit more. But you know, it's a beautiful sort of color story if you like these metallic warm shades. So thank you so much to Suva for sending these out. It's a beautiful collection. I think I'm gonna be using these on my eyes quite a lot in the upcoming weeks because they're very, very pretty. All right, guys, I will see you in the next one and have a great day. Bye.